First Unitarian Universalist congregation of Ann Arbor. My name is Mark VanKempen, and I serve this congregation as the Director for Spiritual Growth and Development. Whether you have been attending with us for years or this is your first foray into online worship, we are glad to have you here with us. We are especially happy to have you here today for a special service, our Coming of Age Credos service. Today, you'll hear some of our 9th grade students share their Credos, statements of belief that they have been developing over the past year in collaboration with adult mentors and the Coming of Age teachers. We are so grateful for all the work that the students, the mentors, and the teachers have put in to make this service happen. After the service, we invite everyone to join us for a social hour over Zoom. Immediately following the service, please use the link UUAA.org/social hour to come and join us. At the beginning of each spiritual growth and development class, we light a chalice. I like to think of the chalice lighting as a ritual that connects us with all of those who have gathered together with purpose and have used the chalice, cup, and flame as their symbol. Today, our chalice lighting will connect us all from all of our different locations together with purpose, to share, to love, to learn, and to grow. Please join me as we say our chalice lighting words together. We light this chalice for the light of truth. We light this chalice for the warmth of love. We light this chalice for the energy of action. We light this chalice for the harmony of peace.
During the Coming of Age year, we encourage our youth to write about and explore their personal beliefs. But of course, as Unitarian Universalists, we are all encouraged to find our own spiritual paths. We are not bound together then by one single belief, but rather by our covenant, the promises we make week after week about how we will be together. So whether this is your first time joining us or whether you have these words memorized, please join me in saying the words of our congregation's covenant. The spirit of this church is love, and service is its law. This is our covenant with each other, to dwell together in peace, to search for truth in love, and to help one another.
Our meditation this week takes the form of a story. This story explores what it means to have a superpower, how to discover your own strengths and talents, even if they aren't so easy to find at first. Get comfortable. Listen as I read this story, and then we'll have some time to reflect on the message it teaches us. In a little house, in the very middle of a small town where winter is always longer than summer, a little girl named Nelvana lived with her mother. Nelvana loved everything about her small town. She loved the quiet roads with lots of space to play hide and seek and tag and street hockey. She loved to ride her bike without worrying about cars coming down the road like big monsters. "Anana," Nelvana said to her mother one day, "if I had a superpower, I could fight big monsters, you know?" "Yes, Panik," her mother replied as she stroked Nelvana's hair. "Do you think I'll ever have a superpower?" Nelvana asked. "I don't know, Panik. Maybe," her mother said with a smile. Nelvana always thought about what it would be like to have superpowers. Everywhere she went, she wore a yellow cape made from a blanket and a pair of snowmobiling goggles resting on her head. On the first day of school, Nelvana was in gym class when a boy named Davide ran into the gym so quickly he was just a blur. All the other kids tried to race him, but he was faster than all the kids in the class. Davide, you have a superpower, Nelvana excitedly told him. You can run faster than a ski-doo. Do you think that's true? Davide asked her, beaming. I know it's true, said Nelvana, but I wonder what my superpower is. Nelvana went home after school and told her mom all about Davide. He was so fast, he almost burned the floor of the gym, Nelvana told her. He was like the wind on a blizzardy day. Wow, he really must have super speed, her mother replied. If Davide has a superpower, does that mean I can have a superpower too? Nelvana asked. I'm sure we'll find out soon, her mom said. Nelvana imagined herself flying in the sky, or talking to animals, or even breathing underwater. The days began to grow colder, but that did not stop Nelvana from going to the playground to play with her friends. One day, Nelvana saw her friend Mata swinging so high that it looked like she was going to loop around the swing set. Nelvana and her friends all stared at Mata, amazed. Then, suddenly, Mata was flying from the swing. She landed so far away that Nelvana was sure that Mata had flown through the air. You can fly! You can fly! Nelvana said. Mata smiled widely. Really? She asked. Of course, Nelvana said. If you keep practicing, someday you'll be able to fly all the way around the world. When Nelvana went home that day, she told her mom about the amazing flying girl she had seen at the playground. She was flying, her mom asked. Well, she was jumping very far, Nelvana explained. But I think she'll be able to fly for real, if she keeps trying. Nelvana started jumping around the house, off the couch and the tables, trying to see if she could be like Mata. I don't think your superpower is flying, Panik, her mom said. But don't worry, we'll figure out what your special talent is soon. The next day, Nelvana and her friends brought their sleds to the big hill next to their school to go sliding. Nelvana's cousin, Jonasi, was already at the top of the hill building an inukshuk. All across the top of the hill, there were snow sculptures of animals and snowmen, and even a whole igloo. Jonasi, did you make these? Nelvana asked. Yup, he said. All of them. Even that polar bear right there. It was easy. What else can you make? She asked. Anything. I can make a caribou and maybe even a monkey. I can make things out of rocks and even ice. Is it your superpower to make things? Nelvana asked. Can you build whatever you can think of? Yup, he replied. I can build anything. Nelvana told her mom all about Jonasi's superpower. Panik, didn't you know that Jonasi's dad has that superpower too? Jonasi is going to be a carver, just like his father. Does that mean I might have that superpower too? Nelvana asked. I've never tried to build anything before. Why don't you try it out? Her mom said. Nelvana tried to build an inukshuk out of her blocks, but it fell over. She tried to make a house out of her Legos, but it was too hard. She sighed. I guess it's not my superpower. Her mom hugged her tight. I'm sure we'll figure it out soon, Panik. Nelvana kept finding friends who had superpowers whenever she went out to play. When she went swimming in the spring, she met a boy named Adami who could hold his breath underwater longer than anyone else. They were playing games in the water, and Nelvana wanted to see who could hold their breath the longest. She thought she had been under the water for minutes, but after she ran out of breath and came up to the surface, Adami stayed underwater for much longer. When he finally came up, Nelvana said, You can hold your breath for a really long time. That must be your superpower. Do you think so? Adami said. I know so, Nelvana said. Cool, Adami said. It's like I'm half fish. Nelvana was happy for her friends. They had all found the things that they were good at. She liked to tell them they had superpowers, and she liked to see them smile. They all seemed so happy to have a special talent. But Nelvana wished she knew what her superpower was. Anana, Nelvana said when she came home from school one day, I still don't know what my superpower is. Am I ever going to figure it out? Her mom gave her a big smile. I think I know what your superpower is, Panik, she said. Nelvana looked up at her mom, excited but confused. What is it? Can I fly like Mata? Or am I really strong? No, Panik, can't you see? Her mother asked as she hugged Nelvana close. Your superpower is making people feel good about themselves. Nelvana smiled. I think that's a good superpower to have, she said. Growing up is a time for discovery of the mysteries around us and inside of us. We are always growing, always learning new things about ourselves and the world. We're finding out what's difficult, what we struggle with, and we find out what we're good at, our superpowers. What is your superpower? Is it running really fast or flying high off a swing? What brings you joy when you think about it, when you do it? Is it finding the good in every situation or always knowing the right thing to say to a friend who's hurt? What comes naturally to you? What's the one thing you just do without even thinking about it? Can you bake the best bread? Can you always find the harmony in a song? In the following moments of silence, take time to think about your superpowers. It's okay if they don't come to you at first. Sometimes they take a while to show up. Or maybe it's right in front of you, but you just can't see it yet. That's okay too. If you know what it is, you are welcome to share it with this community in the live chat or at some other time. Let's take a moment now to celebrate our gifts and appreciate each other's. Just as much as you carry a spark of the divine within you, you each have a superpower. Something that, big or small, makes you who you are. And that is truly special.
Welcome to our first ever virtual Coming of Age Credos service. I'm Jeff Poliner, and along with Stella Anderson, Tom Schettelberg, and Carli Hildebrandt, and organizing support from Michelle Dunham, we've been privileged to facilitate the Coming of Age class this past year. It has been a joy to see how these young adults have matured over the past year. I'm always amazed at how kids at the age of 14 or 15, given the opportunity to deeply and freely explore their religious and spiritual views, come to embrace the opportunity. So this morning, those who we've been teaching all these years, will return the favor by allowing us to not only learn about them, but also give us an opportunity to re-examine our own religious and spiritual views through their credos.
The Coming of Age program has 4 separate but interrelated aspects: the curriculum, extracurricular events, mentors, and credos. We met most Sundays from last September until March of this year to discuss a wide range of topics within the curriculum, including UU principles, spirituality and spiritual practice, compassion, service to others, social justice, death and dying, and many others. And we didn't do this alone. We're thankful to others in the congregation who brought their spiritual practices and perspectives into our classroom.
In order to promote connections and a community of their peers and allow for more in-depth inquiry and experience, we have had several extracurricular activities. Bonding activities, service projects, rituals, and time spent with mentors have allowed us all to connect while having fun and serving the community.
Each youth has been paired with an adult mentor. These trusted members of the congregation participated in the extracurricular activities. Each made him or herself available to their mentee to partner in activities, discuss ideas, and be a trusted adult to talk to outside of the youth's immediate family. We are grateful for all the contributions of these mentors to the program. They truly enrich the program with the diversity of their own experiences and their commitment to their mentees.
A credo is a statement of personal belief. A credo is a snapshot in time and is about defining our values and what is important to us. To develop, write, and present your spiritual views is a significant undertaking for anyone at any age, and we are very proud of each of this year's youth for taking on the task. It takes great courage to both determine and express what you believe, and to acknowledge what you still question. Today you will hear some of these credos. So without further ado, we present a sampling of the Coming of Age class of 2020.
Hello, my name is Carli Hildebrandt. I have had the good fortune to have been our next student's instructor, not only for the Coming of Age program this year, but I have been on her teaching teams for most of her time in our spiritual growth and development program. During this time, I've come to know her as both creative and analytical, full of humor, thoughtful, honest, and always kind. It is my honor to introduce Annika Villanueva.
To be honest, this credo is giving me much anxiety. I have plenty of opinions, as one does, but being the person I am, I don't respect myself enough to care about said opinions. From what I've experienced, those who are valued are ones who have qualities that are useful towards a successful society, which in theory is good, but can and does negatively affect people, especially teenagers and youth who are put on these standards. For example, let's say there was this girl who was extremely good at remembering George Orwell book facts, but no one would really care about that. But let's say there was another girl who was extremely good at remembering math facts. We would obviously praise the girl at math much more than the George Orwell girl, even if they put the same amount of effort into research and put the same amount of time remembering. We say that we value hard work and dedication, but do we really? It seems that as a society, we only value what we see as useful and try to create these cookie-cutter teenagers so they can fit into what our standard is: smart and dumb, pretty and ugly, etc. So growing up, I can understand why so many of my peers, as I see hardworking and passionate, are looked down on by people who have power, such as teachers, parents, and the media. And growing up, I have felt these pressures from people in power to set aside what I'm truly passionate about and to become what they estimate to be a well-rounded person. Therefore, my truth is that people are more than just what they can produce for the people in power. Moving forward, I am going to be true to myself and others, and I will keep the mindset that I am not what other people want me for.
Hello, my name is Bruce Shields. I am the mentor for Zack Hildebrandt, and I am so sorry that COVID cut short our time together. Zack and I spent a fair amount of time going to movies. He is probably the most knowledgeable person about movies that I have ever known. Zack, it was a pleasure being your mentor.
He wants to run faster, run faster. This is a quote from Ken Overby, coach of men's cross country at Huron High School. He is one of my heroes. This means you have to be confident and independent. One spiritual experience I had was that about a year ago, I joined the running team at Huron High School. What's spiritual to me is seeing the boys run. It's spiritual to see beautiful things. The beautiful things I saw are a road, a sidewalk, and a pathway. They are moving through nature. I feel part of nature by running. I feel together with others. The running makes me calm. I admire Coach Ken for teaching the men how to run. I think he's fair to the team and keeps us safe. Woody and Buzz Lightyear from the Toy Story franchise are my heroes too, because they teach us how to be nice and battle Zurg. One of the purposes of my life is to be kind to people or creatures. Coach Ken, Woody, and Buzz teach me how to do this. Another one of my heroes is my dad. I admire my dad for all he knows about rock music. I think he's a good dad because he always takes good care of me, which also teaches me how to be kind. Another meaning of my life is to learn facts about science, movies, history, and music. My dad does this too. Another person I admire is Prince because he was creative. In my life, I want to be creative. He is one of my heroes. I love how he recorded and released a lot of music. I believe in my heroes, and also I believe in facts because they are important. I believe that I'm like the child from a coming-of-age worksheet I read. To me, everything in the universe is enchanted. God or the sacred is everywhere. And so is goodness. I believe that love never dies, and I'll be continuing in the memories that I leave behind. Thank you.
Make channels for the streams of love, where they may broadly run, and love
Good morning. My name is Kathy Edgren, and I was lucky to be paired with Ryan Thomas Palmer in the adventure we call Coming of Age. Ryan and I met pretty regularly until COVID, and I'm grateful we were able to continue our conversations over FaceTime. I showed her the movie Little Women. She showed me Get Out. I showed her the Argo Cascades. She showed me the Bechdel test. She shared her kale chips recipe. I shared a poem, and on and on. Ryan's artistic talent, her ability to focus and concentrate, to persist in and perfect her craft are extraordinary for anyone, and especially in one so young. I predict Ryan will continue to hone her craft and will be a huge success as a friend, an artist, and as someone who is helping people be their best selves.
Hi, my name is Ryan Thomas Palmer. I'm 15 years old, and until I was about 5 years old, I refused to draw. This was simply because I couldn't color within the lines of a coloring book. Then, when I was about 5, I tried coloring again. I used a printed out piece of copy paper with a unicorn outline and a pink Crayola marker. I filled in the unicorn about as well as a 5-year-old could, and I was ecstatic. I colored that same unicorn about 100 times again and again. I made my mom buy countless packs of Crayola markers, only to use the pink. Now, I draw for up to 7 hours a day, especially by virtue of COVID-19, and I can't get enough of it. Here are a few examples. These are some old boxing gloves I drew in 2018. I drew them because I love kickboxing about as much as I adore art. I love kickboxing because it is a very empowering sport, and frankly, I really enjoy kicking things. When I drew this, I thought it was the best drawing I'd ever done. I love the laces and the contrasts I'd used. Now, I don't think that the drawing is good. A few weeks after I'd finished the drawing, I noticed small details I did wrong or not enough of. For instance, I should have drawn more leather pores, and there isn't enough shadow between the gloves. Even though I don't like it anymore, I enjoy looking at this drawing and comparing it to other pieces I've done more recently. That is one of my favorite things about art. You can see how far you've come through what you put on the paper a year ago and what you put on the paper now. This also shows my perfectionism. I look at my drawing a week after I finalized it, find something wrong, and figure out what I need to do to get my art closer and closer to perfect. This is another drawing I did in 2018. It is my favorite picture of Obama, him smiling and laughing and not looking at the camera. Behind him are several obnoxious tweets Donald Trump has tweeted. I started the drawing by spending about 2 hours finding tweets I hated the most and printing them out. I don't really like the drawing of Obama, similar to the reasons for the boxing gloves. However, I do like how I put out the message through the artwork. I drew my grandpa in 2019. I was bored. I didn't have anything to draw, so I went searching for a challenging picture to reference. I chose this picture to reference because it clearly portrays the person that I look up to, my grandpa. The candid picture was taken by my dad on a ferry to Madeline Island while my grandpa was looking out at the water. This was a very challenging photo to recreate on paper, therefore it was also the most fun. I had never drawn a beard. It was the biggest drawing I'd ever done, and I usually draw kids. So drawing this specific photo showed me a lot of things that I didn't know I could draw. When I draw, it puts me in a very calm, almost meditative state. I love seeing the finished product of a drawing, even when I am disappointed with how it turned out. It makes me feel accomplished that I finished another work. I am a big perfectionist, which is an advantage and a disadvantage in the art world. I am a very political, up-to-date person, and I express that through my art. I am grateful that everything that has happened in my life has led me to being an artist, and hopefully I can continue in my art career. If you would like to see more artwork by me or find more information on commissions, my Instagram handle and website are on the screen. Lastly, here is a time-lapse of the 9 hours it took me to draw a Giles Dooley photograph. The music is written and performed by one of my best friends, Jessie Mason, who is also 15 years old. Thank you for taking the time to learn about my passion, my artwork.
someone be so broken, but act like they're not. I just wish I knew what went on in your thoughts. Tired in the morning, and I'm tired at the party. Sorry, I can't help that I'm so boring. Where are you? Called you in the morning, and I called you at the party. Without you, oh, I am so lonely. Where are you?
Hello, my name is Jennifer Ellsworth. I had the pleasure this year of getting to know Antonia Ordonez through the Coming of Age program. Toni is curious, Toni is creative, and Toni is caring. She's got a wonderful message to share with us all. Here she is.
Hola todos, it's your girl Toni with the Coming of Age UUAA Credo. So, I just turned 15 yesterday. Happy birthday to me. We haven't been in in-person classes for like 5 months. That's a long time. It's been a really crazy year, nothing like I would have expected. To be honest, I get really nervous about sharing my thoughts or feelings with people outside of my family. I have a lot going on inside my head, but I never really think anyone cares. But here goes. Family defines me. Growing up, I always felt different, out of place, and like I didn't belong. My sibling's skin color is a tan, white shade like my mom's, and my skin color is a darker brown olive shade like my dad's. Standing next to my siblings, I always have to explain to friends, teachers, and camp counselors that we are full-blooded, not adopted siblings. When my dad lived with us, people never doubted I was his. After my parents' divorce, my dad moved back to Quito, Ecuador. Quito is where I was born and lived until I was 4. I felt like an outsider here. For a long time, I thought I belonged with my family in Ecuador and not here with my mother and siblings. I wanted to be with people who looked like me and thought like me. I'm not sure I believe that anymore. I'm from both cultures in different ways. I love being together with my family. My siblings and I are a super tight clan. I mean, I'm not saying that we don't fight or whatever, but we definitely take care of each other every chance we get.
Una onza de sangre vale más que una libra de amistad.
Some of my friends don't value their family at all, or say they don't. At this age, it's apparently cool to push away your family and be on your own. I once heard a former friend say, I just want to see my friends, but my grandparents are worried about the coronavirus. I honestly wouldn't care if they died. It's their time anyway. I swear to you, I am not making this up. I cannot believe that somebody would say such a thing about their family member, even if they didn't actually mean it. I'm not saying that I don't say super sassy things to my family and friends, but that definitely crossed the line, and I'm totally not friends with this person anymore. Both my family and this community have taught me to value the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Can we please just take care of each other? Let's agree to wear masks for a while, okay? Everyone deserves to stay safe. Issues like trans healthcare rights, equal access for people with disabilities, immigration reform, and the Black Lives Matter movement are all causes I believe and take part in. Justice, equity, and compassion in human relations is another UU principle that I totally connect with. I've recently done stuff for the Black Lives Matter movement, like marching in protests, buying BML merch from Black-owned businesses, and spreading awareness on social media. I know what it's like to be treated differently because of my own skin color. Some people make assumptions as soon as they look at me. I remember one time, before the pandemic, my sister and I and 2 of our friends went to Meyer. My sister and her friend were playing catch with a ball. My friend and I were looking at toys. My sister's ball ended up flying over into the next aisle near me. A middle-aged white man came directly over to me and accused me of throwing it at him. I denied it and told him it wasn't my ball, but he refused to hear it. He wasn't even speaking to my friend, who was in fact white. He was only speaking to me. My sister came over and told him it was her ball, but he refused to listen and insisted it was still me. He called an employee over and demanded that they follow me around the store, which they did. This moment was annoying, but I've had this kind of thing happen before, and at the time, I wasn't even that upset. My sister and I talked afterwards because she was really upset about it. We talked about what each of us could do next time and how screwed up that there even will be next time. Even though we have the same blood, my siblings have a different experience than me. We will always have each other's back, though, and we will try to always say that it's gonna be okay. Lately, it's been really hard to look on the bright side of things. But then I see so many people in the world standing up for their rights and standing up for equality. I'm so fortunate that I have my family and this community to guide me, support me, and stand with me. Yo nunca me doy por vencido. Thank you for listening, stay safe, and see you when I see you.
Every year, after the coming of age group presents their credos, I hear from many adults that they wished they had an opportunity like this when they were young. A chance to dive deep into their own personal theology and spirituality. Coming of age is one of the best parts of being raised UU. It is the reason that I, not even 20, can speak so clearly to my own beliefs and values. Programs like Coming of Age, and indeed our entire spiritual growth and development program, are sustained by your generous gifts. It's been said to me more times than I can count that youth are the future of this faith. And every time I reply, youth are not just the future, but the past and the present. I hope that this service has reminded you again of how true that is. And if we want youth to continue to be the blessing to our faith that they are, we must establish our congregations in full support of young people and their ministry. Please give as you are able to support the ministry of this community by going to uuaa.org/giving. Thank you for your generosity.
Okay, the whole community needs to get involved with this. We need singers and we need percussionists. You can be both, but at least choose one, will you? It goes like this. Open the window, children. Open the window now. Open the window, children. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Try with me. Open the window, children. Open the window now. Open the window, children. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Mama and Papa are fighting like snakes. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Baby is crying like her heart will break. Open the window. Neighbors lock their doors, build fences so high. Can't see what's to discover on the other side. Here we go, percussionists. Open the window, children. Open the window now. Open the window, children. Open the window, let the dove fly. Open the window, let the dove fly. Borders round countries and borders round the sky. The only borders that close you are the borders round your mind. Some people have mind, some people have none. But what's the use of money if your heart's gone numb? Let's do it again. Here we go. Open the window, children. Open the window now. Open the window, children. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, let the dove fly in. This big old world is in a great mess. Open the window, find peace and rest. Open the window, children. Open the window now. Open the window, children. Last time. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, let the dove fly in.
As we end our time together, I want to thank all of our coming-of-age youth who worked so hard to develop their personal credos. And of course, a special thank you to the 4 youth who translated their credos into this online format. Every year, the coming-of-age class inspires me and gives me so much hope for the future. This year, that hope and inspiration feel especially important in the midst of these challenging times. May these incredible young people remind us all of the power and potential of our Unitarian Universalist faith, a faith that challenges us to keep searching, to keep learning, and to keep growing. May it be so, and blessed be.